Most Christians in America and probably a lot of the Western world don't believe John 3:16. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, here we go. Let's see how far we can get before we start having problems where Christianity will tell you this verse doesn't mean what it says. Okay, let's go. For God so loved the world. Wait a minute. Whoa, hold up. Hold up. A lot of people have problems with that verse right there. They'll say, no, it doesn't mean the whole world. It doesn't mean the world. It just means certain groups of people, And so even though it doesn't say that, it says quite the opposite. Hey, maybe you got to buy their study Bible so you can find out what the Bible actually says by what they say it says, right? Now, he so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, freely gave the world his son. Now, a lot of people, they don't believe that. Now, they might say, okay, I believe it, but what they really believe is that God was so angry with the world. He hated the world so much, he just wanted to kick somebody's tail. And so Jesus came along and said, hey, beat me up instead of the world. And God said, well, I've got to beat up somebody. Might as well be you. And so he beats Jesus up instead of the world, okay? That's not giving your son to the world, okay? And then say that's what love is. Okay, whatever. So they have a problem with that, long story short. Now, if you've made it this far, for God so loved the world, I believe that. I believe he loved the whole world. I believe he gave his son. He didn't have to. He wasn't angry. He gave his son. Now we're probably fixing to have problems, okay? That whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And you're like, Michael, how could we possibly not agree with that? That's the basis of Christianity. And I'll say, okay, well, what does perish mean? And they'll say, well, to be unalived. Like when somebody has an accident on TV, they'll say 3 people perished. Now, what does that mean? What does that word mean then? Do you think they're meaning some sort of eternal spiritual thing? Now, I'm going to say there is a spiritual component, but that spiritual component is not divorced from physicality, from the natural world. They're not separated like Gnostics used to think they are, okay? It's all blended together. So if you believe in him perfectly, and I don't know anybody that has perfect faith, but if you believe in him perfectly, you'll have everlasting life. In case you didn't believe that word, what does that word mean? It means life that lasts forever. Now, if you have life that lasts forever, how could you do that? You understand what I'm saying? So, am I saying that it's purely only a physical, natural thing? No. It is a spiritual and a natural thing. It has to do with the spirit, the mind, the soul, the flesh, all of it together. But we want to break all that apart and make this say something that it doesn't say. But I believe the whole thing. I believe that if you believe in him perfectly, you'll live to be 3,682 or however you will remain until he comes. So, how'd you do? What's your score? Do you believe John 3:16, or can you give this to a child? You've got to be like a child to enter the kingdom of God, the fullness of the kingdom of God. So if you gave this verse to a child, do you have to give them a bunch of explanation? I can give it to a child and say, hey, this is the way it is. Can you do that? What more? Like, this is the most famous verse in Christianity, at least here in the West. And as you can see, most of it, people don't believe. They'll tell you it means something else. It doesn't. You can't read the plain words. Now you know why we got all the denominations, the study Bibles, the DVDs, the books, and all of this stuff. Just read it and believe it. Be like a child. God bless you.